Hi guys! So I do have my stuff out. I just got it straight from my art bag, so you might want to pull out your art bag and you're going to get out your project from last week that we were working on. So remember, we drew that circle and we started our mountains. This week what we're going to be doing is we're going to start adding trees to these, and I'm going to show you, if you want to create a road like this, I'm going to show you how to do that. So one thing I want to talk about with trees is we are going to be making the ones that are closer to us. So if we were looking at this mountain, the trees that are closer to us are going to be larger, and the trees that are closer to the mountain are going to be smaller. So it's going to create the illusion that the mountain is far away and that the trees are up close. So with these trees, they're really easy to make, and I'm actually going to use the top of my paper to show you guys how to make these trees. So I'm using a thin Sharpie. You can always use a pencil, you can use a regular Sharpie, kind of whatever you have. You can even use like a black pen. That'll work really nice on this. And at the top of my page, because we are eventually going to be cutting these out, I'm going to show you how we can make a tree. So a tree, you're just going to do a line. And since they're going to be on the road, there is going to be a road underneath the tree. So you can just have it go all the way down. And you're just going to start doing a lot of lines outside. So I start with like 2 little lines like that, and I'm going to show you really close, and you're going to just start making a whole bunch. Now, I will say the bottom of the tree is going to be a little fatter than the top of the tree, and that's just normal. And you kind of want these lines to kind of go in every which way, direction. But these trees are pretty simple to make, and you're just going to keep on putting lines on top of lines. And it does not need to look perfect. It'll probably look better even if it is a little not perfect. So right now I'm doing downward motions. I can go up a bit too. And now I'm just trying to fill in some of those awkward white spaces. Let's add a little bit to the bottom of our tree. And that's how you basically make a tree. So it's just a bunch of little lines. Now, if you look at mine, this is like smaller than my fingernail, these little trees down here, and then these ones are clearly bigger than my fingernail. So you are gonna have to add roads to your pieces. So when you add a road, I recommend doing like kind of like a crisscross type of thing. So I might do a road kind of like that. Now, everybody's can look a little bit different because this is now your landscape, so it doesn't have to look exactly like mine. And you can continue just doing lines if you want, or if you want a road like this, you can follow along with me right now. And what you're going to do is you're going to create kind of like an S curve, so you're going to go just like that. So you see like an S curve you're going to create. And then you're going to create another S curve, but I would start back up here, and it's going to be kind of tight. And then another S curve, but this line's going to go kind of straight. Then what we're going to do is you need to be careful, because if you want to add little rocks to it, you can't have too thick of a line. So I might add a couple rocks, a couple like oval shapes, like I did on my previous one. And maybe even here I want to have another rock. So you guys can do that too, which that you kind of just gotta go with it. It's gonna look a little weird. And now we're gonna do a line that's gonna go with it. So I would start on this side, and we're gonna go towards the center. So you're gonna go next to the rocks, but you're not gonna go through them. And then you just kind of go straight, and you stop when it hits. So you see that line I just did? Now we're gonna have a line up here, and I like it when it juts out a little bit, and I like it to be a little wonky, because this is supposed to be snow, and snow's not perfect. And here we're gonna do the same thing. It's gonna jut out a little bit, and like a little wonky. Just have it go right there. And then you just add little lines through it. So some can be longer, some can be shorter. This is just gonna add some texture. Make it look a little more 3D. Do the same thing here. We're adding some lines. And you don't have to do this. If you don't want it to have this little section, you don't have to do that. That's basically how you create a little road that looks like it's getting smaller. And now we're gonna add some trees. So I'm gonna start with maybe a bigger tree, like right here. And it's gonna block a big portion of my road too, and that's okay. If something overlaps, that's okay. So I'm gonna do a tree there, and we're just gonna do it the same way that we learned at the top of the page. And when you guys are creating these, take your time. I promise it looks so much better if you're taking your time. All right, so I got one little tree there, and I feel like trees are never like really just one. There's always like a couple trees. So I'm gonna draw a little shorter tree next to it. Now this tree is just shorter. It's not far away, which I think that can be a little bit confusing. And this one's gonna be kind of touching the other tree. All right, so I added two little trees there, and you can add your trees wherever you want. And I think I'm gonna add maybe some more trees like right here. So I actually might make these ones a hair bigger. And I just extended that line and made them just a little bit bigger, because I'm gonna make these ones a little bit shorter. So I'm gonna make some trees. And I'm definitely gonna do a few here. Like a shorter one. I want them touching. And maybe another little shorter one here. Now you can decide, do you want a bunch of trees? Do you want one tree? It's up to you, it's your landscape. All right, so I did a few trees there. I think I'm gonna do a couple more, maybe like one over here. Now this one's this big. Oh, definitely not gonna do it that big, maybe like that big. And this one's gonna be a pretty tall tree for this spot. So I'm gonna do some shorter ones next to it. And as you can see, it's just going right over my road. That's okay. And maybe like a little shorter one like I did on the other one. Remember, these lines don't have to be perfect. In nature, they're not perfect. So I got a few trees going. And now I think I'm gonna add some trees in the far background. So I think I'm gonna add some right here. And these trees are gonna be little. They're gonna be really small because they're gonna be really close to that mountain. So maybe a little bit taller. When you do these ones, you're just gonna take your time. Just do like little tiny trees. And that's it. So that is all we're doing today. Once you guys are done and you think it looks really good, just make a Flipgrid video and we are done. Next week we're going to be cutting them out, we're going to be coloring them, everything. So I hope you guys like your project so far. All right, I'll see you next week. Bye guys.